What's up, everybody? How's it going? Welcome. How's it going, everybody in the Facebook group? How's it going, Trevor?
It's going amazing, dude. It's
What's
going
new?
amazing. Let me mute these out here because I realized I did not have them muted. We're good to go now.
What is the most exciting thing you've heard about or have seen this past week?
Dude, for me, the most exciting thing is heading to Ireland, not next week, but the week after with my parents, with my younger brother. And for those of you who've kind of been following along on some of the trials, tribulations, my dad has a brain cancer that's popped up in September, and we've been dealing with that since then. And he's in a really, really good spot right now. And so we're going to take a trip. I think it's their first ever international trip. So get back over to Ireland and be fun.
That's exciting. That's way bigger than what I saw this week.
What did you see?
This is so there's AI garbage trucks in South Carolina now.
Dude, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, so there's these. My brother lives in South Carolina, so I sent it to him, and he's like, "Dude, I think they got me for my unregistered cars in my driveway." But legitimately, there's garbage trucks with cameras on them with AI software to
Really?
basically looking for code violations for overgrown lawns,
No way.
trash in the yard, things like that. And I'm like, "What? That's wild!" They're automatically like handing out code violations to residents, like
That is
Big Brother's looking out.
The most fascinating thing for me about that, yes, it is that they're automatically handing out violations. But the thing that pops up for me is I'm like, they're putting them on garbage trucks because garbage trucks go up and down every road,
Yeah.
right? And so the thing that immediately popped up for me is like, oh my gosh, what other businesses out there?
I was like, I'm going to send it to Deal Machine. They need
Yeah.
that data.
100%. Like, what other businesses are out there doing a thing where you can use the byproduct of that thing to actually add another business or another income stream or solve another problem?
Yeah.
The byproduct of being a garbage truck is that they have to drive over a lot of streets.
Yeah.
And now the city doesn't have to pay someone to go drive around and do that. And they're saying, who's already doing it? And let's pay them to do it.
They could
That
do
might make them more money than the garbage pickup.
They could do the
does.
paper routes too. They just shoot papers out the side and record whatever you're doing in your lawn and
Exactly.
pick up your garbage.
Exactly. And dude, a cool thing on this topic that really isn't directly related, but is interesting for everyone to think about is as investor, agent, whatever business you're in, what are you already doing that may be valuable for somebody else? Like, what are you already doing in your business that gets you in front of people who other people might want to be in front of as well?
Yeah.
We're working with HVAC companies today and kind of going into that market to see how we can serve them. One of the reasons is because we have a lot of agents and investors who are Carrot members. And it's like, well, those house flippers are already working with HVAC companies. Those agents are already in some way, shape, or form working with HVAC companies. HVAC companies want to work with flippers and they want to connect with agents. And it's like, well, if you want to get more business as an HVAC company, who sees houses every day? Investors and agents.
Yeah.
Awesome. Flip side of it, you want to, you're an agent, you want to get more deals. Who sees houses every day? HVAC companies.
Yeah.
Like, go work with them and see if you can be the preferred company if there's any sniff that person's wanting to sell, or you can do cross marketing.
Get the referrals for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sweet, man. Well, we are talking about backlinks today. We're not going to spend the whole time talking about AI garbage trucks, thank goodness. But yeah, we're going to be talking about backlinks. So let us know if you have any questions. Put it through YouTube, put it through Facebook. We've already got a lot of really good, insightful questions this week. We've got a lot of ground to cover on backlinks, but we're going to be talking about basically where not to get backlinks, where to get backlinks, creative ways to do it, cheap and fast ways to do it, and what Google thinks about backlinks, and really like what it takes to rank with backlinks. So there's a lot of ground to cover, but yeah, we will put in your questions and let's kick it off. We'll get into it here. Backlinks. What matters? How do you get them? What does it take to rank? How do you get really powerful backlinks for the least amount of time and effort if you're a busy real estate investor? That's what we're talking about today. We're getting into the nitty gritty. So yeah, Trevor, let's talk about backlinks, man.
Dude, backlinks. This is a topic. I was reading a Facebook thread the other day, and a client of ours said, oh my gosh, backlinks are like this mysterious thing that you can never figure out and you don't really know what you're supposed to do next.
Yeah.
And so hopefully on this episode, we're going to demystify it a little bit. And this won't be like a masterclass deep level on everything on backlinks, nor can it be, right? We would be here for probably 8 hours teaching everything.
Yeah.
But what we're going to be is hopefully maybe a half hour, maybe a little bit longer, is giving you a pretty deep dive on backlinks. We're going to talk about what's good, what backlinks are good, what backlinks are bad. We're going to talk about where they should come in, how many may you need depending on your market.
We got some data on that too. It's interesting.
Exactly, some data on it. We're going to show you some tools you can use, carrot tools to analyze your backlinks, but also other tools to be able to help you along that journey. So we want to make it, guys, so the backlink side of SEO, which we'll bring up the pyramid again here in a second, so you guys know that backlinks are just a part of SEO. But we want to make sure the backlink part of SEO is a lot less confusing for you, and you have some right next steps.
Yeah. So we're going to give you really clear, specific resources. We're going to share some examples of what Carrot members have done to get creative with backlinks, as well as where you can go to buy your backlinks, etc. Trevor, you got the pyramid pulled up?
Yep. Let's pull that bad boy up.
We're about to build the pyramids.
The pyramids. Here we go. So we've been bringing this one into every episode recently in this kind of almost like a foundation series we're doing here on the Evergreen Marketing Show. We're going through the foundation. So catching you up, if you're listening or if you're watching this, at the very, very bottom or the foundation of that pyramid, the most important part is that tech stack, right?
And this, we're talking about like what it takes to rank online, what it takes to get leads through Google. So if you're listening to the podcast, what you can see, we have an illustration pulled up. Check it out on YouTube. But basically, what it takes to rank in that pyramid is the work that Carrot does for you versus the things that you need to do yourself. So, yeah.
That's right. So you got tech stack, which is how fast that website loads, security. We had a whole episode on that, so I'm not going to dive into these in detail. Then you have the website structure, which is kind of like how does a page order actually work? What about your navigation? What about your sitemap and things like that? We take care of those things for you if you're a Carrot member. Check out that episode. Strategy. Then it's like, well, let's do the keyword research. What are the keywords? Let's make the content now. Right. And now that goes to the on page. And that is, let's build out good quality content that's authoritative, that's trustworthy. We showed you how our tools help you do that and give you a jump start. And then we have the AI tools to help it even more, or we have services that can help you. But then it goes to off page, which is stuff that is not actually on your website. Is everything else up to this point are things that are actually on your website. Okay, they're on your website or in the code behind the scenes, and we take care of. We say about 60 to 70% of that for you. That would cost you thousands and thousands of dollars and tens or hundreds of hours to build yourself. So now the off page really is about. It's like basically what is away from your website that points back to your website that says your website's good, right? If one way I heard someone talk about backlinks is that they're almost like votes. Okay, it's almost like you have a website over here that's not your website. It links, or there's a clickable hyperlink to my site, and that's that website saying, "Hey, you should check this site out. It's a good site on this topic."
Yeah.
Okay, and Google looks for those things because the more links you have coming to your website from good, reputable sources, the more Google feels, oh, like it must be a decent website because more and more people keep linking to this website for this topic. Okay. So that's kind of really, really base level, 101 description of what a link is. And now we're going to dive into more of the details of exactly how you build your first links, what you should avoid, and some easier, simpler ways to kind of look at backlinks as you go.
Yeah, let's do it. So one thing we want to talk about is kind of the reality of backlinks and how Google sees this. And then we'll talk about or not to get backlinks. And then we're going to dive into like examples, your first citations, your first backlinks, and some of those creative examples. Yep. But this is really key to understand. Trevor, we were talking about before we went live. The reality is that Google wants to see you putting into work, creating compelling content on your website that other people link out to, and building connections with other websites and building those links naturally, organically. That's the best way to do it, to create really compelling content that gets linked out to. But a lot of people aren't going to do the work. And so, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think, dude, this is my tough love opinion on it, right? It's like if you want a result for anything in life that is worthy of getting a result for, you want to get in shape, you want to find that spouse, you want to build $1 million income, you've got to put in the work, okay? Now, are there shortcuts? in working out, you could go get liposuction, or you could do steroids, or you could do any of those things, and they're going to work for a period of time, right? You can get liposuction, and for the next number of months, or maybe a year or two, I don't know the science behind that, but you're probably going to look pretty great. But then the fundamentals were not solved with that. It's going to end up coming back. So it's not a long-term solution, but it does solve something in the short term. Or, steroids, same thing. If you want to get in great shape and grow those big muscles, either way, you've got to put in the work. You can't just inject the steroid and make that happen, I've heard. But you still got to do the work, but it's going to accelerate the process, but it's temporary. Okay, so the tough love here, guys, is somebody has to do the work. Either you've got to do it, or you've got to pay someone to do it. Okay, and now there's right ways to do the work, and there's wrong ways to do the work. And so we'll kind of go back to the fitness example. A wrong way is injecting yourself with steroids to accelerate something artificially, and then eventually it ends up hurting you, right? Mm-hmm. The right way to pay someone to help accelerate the work is to hire a coach. It's to hire a fitness trainer, a nutritionist, is get the right things in your body, is to bring people in with you, to do it with you, to accelerate that process, to have accountability, have someone kind of accelerate their learning. They bring it to you and say, hey, do these things. It's going to make it way quicker.
Yeah.
That's the way you do it with fitness. So how do you do it with marketing and backlinks? Well, we'll talk about it here in a bit. And I can even show up on my screen if I'm jumping ahead, Brady. Stop
no,
me,
go
buddy.
ahead, man. You're good.
Share this one up if you can, Braden. The very thing you should not do is go to Fiverr.com and go buy backlinks. Okay, don't go to Fiverr, don't go to Upwork, and go buy backlinks. And that's one of the first things that people do is they say, oh, well, my buddy over here, this guy on Facebook, says I should just go to Fiverr and get my website built, or I should go to Fiverr and get backlinks built.
You're basically buying steroids off Craigslist.
Exactly. It's exactly what it is, right? You're going to feel good for a little while, but then eventually it's going to crash and burn and actually do the opposite of what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
But it might feel like it's easier. You might feel like when you're doing it, oh my gosh, I got the cheat code, right? I got all these links. I paid $25 or $200 for them. And my ranking popped, because your ranking will grow. Okay, it will grow. And I've seen so many people do this where they get 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 links. You look in the Carrot SEO tool. I'll kind of bring up a deal here. You look in the Carrot SEO tool and you see the backlinks just popping. Okay, and then you go over to the domain overview. And this isn't an example of one that's doing it. I'm just showing people visually on the screen. I'll explain it verbally. Then you'll start to see the rankings start to grow and pop over time. Okay. Now, the bad thing with that is I'll then see a drop, usually in 3 to 9 months, a drop that goes just as hard as the climb did. If the climb is really quick and fast, it'll stay like that for 6 to 12 months. You're going to be pumped, getting leads, getting deals, but then it's going to have just as hard of a drop, and it's going to be even harder to get back.
Yeah.
So
absolutely,
don't do it the wrong
man.
way.
So don't go to don't go to Fiverr. Let's talk about the first things you need to do. So there's citations. We'll talk about citations. Mm-hmm. Citations is a type of backlink. But the very first thing you need to do, if you haven't got your citations built out, is go build your Google business profile.
Yep.
We've got a video Keith Stant did with us on Summit last year, and I believe I pulled that out standalone and put it on our YouTube channel, how to optimize your Google business profile. So you can go find that on our YouTube channel. But yeah, get your Google business profile built out. If you're not aware of NAP, name, address, phone number, make sure that your name, address, phone number with that Google business profile are consistent with everything on your website. That's critical. Yep. And just get the Google business profile built out. It's really easy to build. It can be a pain in the butt to get it verified sometimes, but we're not going to get into the weeds of that, but just don't ignore it. And then the next thing to do is citations. So I think one of the questions, Trevor, this week was like, somebody's asking, what's the difference between a citation and a backlink? Citation is a type of backlink, but in my understanding, citation is basically an online directory or a listing that's linking out to your website.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting a backlink with most citations. Like Google My Business Profile technically is a citation, but you also get a link. What I want to have you guys do is go do this actually. So if the team can link it up, share my screen here if you could, Braden. We have our free SEO audit tool. So if you go to carrot.com/site-audit, or we'll link it up live here, or we'll put it in the show notes, wherever it's going to be, but carrot.com/site-audit. Okay, you can put in your URL. And in this report, it's going to give you a basic backlink report, and it's going to give you a report to know, hey, is your Google My Business profile actually linked to your website? So an example is we just launched a website. It's about a month ago. It's already getting leads. It's climbing in rankings on the HVAC side of things. Okay. We put it into the Carrot SEO audit tool, and then it showed something that our team and myself didn't catch originally. It's like they have a Google My Business profile, but it's not actually linked up to their website. So that's an action
so
item.
many misleads.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just an amazing, it's like the very first backlink everyone should just go get.
Yeah.
You know, it's free. It takes you 5 or 10 minutes to set that up. And having a good business profile, Google My Business profile is actually going to help your overall ranking a little bit too.
Nice. Let me share my screen. So after you get your Google Business profile built up, we've actually got a Help Center article. Which let me do this here. Share it for those of you watching. Okay, so we have a Help Center article, help.carrot.com. We'll put it through in the chat here. But where to get your first citations. So I'm not going to go into the weeds here because you can just go look at the article and go work on building out these citations. Sites like Bing Places, local.com, even some other websites like MySpace, but like Yahoo Local is on here, YouTube, LinkedIn, all your social profiles are in here, but just making sure your website is linked out on all these different citations. If you don't want to do this, this can be kind of time consuming. You can go to Carrot Marketplace and have our team do these for you.
Yep.
Pretty easily and for a pretty good deal, considering how much time this would take you. So get those citations built out. And yeah, what's next? What do I want to talk about? Get citations built out, and then let's talk about good versus bad backlinks.
Yeah, and did you mention the number of citations to go for?
No, at least minimum 50 citations.
Yep.
Yeah, absolute minimum.
Exactly. Yeah, we're going to want to aim around the 50 to 100, y'all. And this is why I highly suggest just going and paying someone to do it, because you can do that in our marketplace, like Brady mentioned. Just go to marketplace.carrot.com, head down into the SEO services section, and then you'll be able to see the citation building service where we intake some information from you, and then we go do the building for you. And then you'll end up getting an email and a report with the different information, the different logins. Now you can then go manage it from there. There are other services out there if you guys want to go explore and check around on citation building services, but we have the one in-house that can help you guys right here as well. So 50 to 100 is what you're wanting to do. And if you value your time, like this is something I'm having conversations every darn week with our clients. If you value your time, and let's say if you want to make $100,000 a year, I'm just going to go to Google and type, what is $100,000 per year hourly? Okay. What is $100,000 per year hourly? It's $48.08. Okay. If you're going to go build 100 citations, it's probably going to be 10 to 15 minutes per citation. Okay. So let's do some quick math, 10 to 15 minutes per citation. Let's go 15 minutes times 100. That's 100, or that's 1,500 minutes. Divide that by 60 to see how many hours. That's 25 hours of time.
Yeah,
25 hours of time. Let's times, if your goal is to make $100,000 a year net to you, then times that by $48. That's $1,200 of your time that you're spending building 100 citations. That's if you're only going for $100,000 a year. If you're wanting to go for $200,000 a year, that's $2,400 of your time. If you're wanting to go for $500,000 a year, that's like $7,000 of your time. So guys, go invest a few $100 to have someone go build citations in our marketplace or elsewhere to save back thousands and thousands of dollars of your own time.
And it's $350 for 40 citations, so it'll get you most of the way there.
Get it?
Not trying to hard sell anyone. It's probably not worth your time to build all those citations.
100%, dude.
Good versus bad backlinks. Really, Trevor, can you get penalized for linking out to shady websites?
Yeah, so the good versus bad backlink topic, I'll kind of start here. So there are bad backlinks. Okay, so an example is you want your backlinks to be from reputable websites, from websites that you would be comfortable having your website listed on, right? Like you don't want your website listed on any of the shady a porn website as an example, or a website that's about a topic that is in the dark web or anything like that. It should be a website that has reputable sources. Okay. It shouldn't be this random overseas website that has all this bad hacked code into it that's a phishing website that literally when you go to those websites and Google tells you, hey, we think this website's trying to take information from you, you don't want sites like that linking to you.
Yeah.
Because Google's going to then assume if too many of those link to you that you must also fit into that bad neighborhood.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to be in good neighborhoods. So does it mean that all your links have to be from real estate related websites if you're an investor or an agent? Or does it mean that all your links have to be in the home services world? No, but there should be a logical reason that your website's linked on that thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So a news article, you got quoted in a news article in your local news or through Harrow, which we'll talk about here in a bit. That's a killer link. It's news that Google recognizes this website is a news website, linking to you and saying, hey, they're newsworthy. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
It could be a mortgage broker you work with, and you guys decide, hey, I'm going to write a blog post on their website, and they're going to link to you, or they're going to put me on their local resources page, and they're going to link to me. It could be the charity that you donated to, and they have a contributors page. It could be all kinds of stuff. So yes, links can penalize you in that way. Now, the other way that people usually talk about links being penalizing you is when you will go buy links from like a Fiverr.com, and they're going to be using a bunch of usually lower quality websites. They may have a 20 or 30 domain authority, but they're probably using a PBN, which is a private blog network. I did a video on that years ago that can kind of walk you guys through what that is. But a PBN is essentially, I go buy a bunch of expired domains that someone forgot to put the information in to GoDaddy to renew their domain. That person worked hard for 4 years getting their own backlinks. It's a 20 or 30 domain authority. I go buy it. Now I own it, and I inherit all the links that person worked years to get in their domain. And now I spin up a really simple blog and pay someone to write some very low quality content on there. And I do that 100 times. Buy 100 of those expired domains with domain authority, bunch of low quality content. Now that's what a private blog network is I then I become a Fiverr guy, and I say, hey, I'm going to sell backlinks for $50 for 2,000 or whatever it is. And then I just go submit to my VA to go write a crappy article and link to your site from all my interconnected websites.
Yeah.
Okay. So
sketchy gamification.
It is, but that's the way that most people are doing backlinks at scale. And here's the thing that I want to kind of let people know is, as Brady and I are going to dive in, there's a right way to do backlinks, and then there's which is what is called white hat in SEO. We're going to show you all the white hat methods, but they're going to take some work, right? Or you have to pay more for them. And then there's the black hat methods, which are just straight up, if Google catches you, your site is going to get penalized. And then there's the gray hat method, which is like, well, it is backlinks from websites, but it's PBNs. And if that PBN gets caught, all that link juice that was passing to you is now going to go away from that link. And now Google's not going to credit you that link.
So in other words, you're not necessarily, for your example, you're not necessarily risking getting penalized. You're risking losing those rankings if Google goes after that PBN.
Exactly. And a lot of people will think it's a penalty, but usually it's not actually a penalty. You're just not getting the juice you were getting from those links. So therefore your ranking goes down.
Yeah.
And that's why, guys, to really invest into good quality links. And there are discussions where, can you build backlinks quick through that route and get a ranking boost and then build long-term good links that keep you there? Yeah, you can for sure.
Yeah.
There's just always a risk anytime you build a mass amount of lower quality links that may eventually get caught and that juice goes away. There's always a risk.
Yeah.
But as long as you're building good quality links while you're doing it, then you should be able to stay.
That makes sense. I got a quick question in the chat, which, by the way, everyone put in your questions. We will do a Q&A after the main portion of this episode. The podcast portion is over. We'll answer all the questions. But Craig said, just to clarify, it's good to backlink to a real estate website like a top producer, agent, or broker? Yes.
Yep.
I wouldn't say any backlink's a good backlink, but yes, that would be a good backlink to get.
Dude, even if you have your own website, like I've got 5 or 6 of my own websites, right? And so the first thing I would do, y'all, to get a link is I would go, what other website do I own that's been around for years that is maybe is ranking for something? It might have some links. I'm going to go, cool. I'm going to go into our company page and probably write in there, hey, our sister company is XYZ House Buyers, or is XYZ Home Services, or is XYZ Agents. Here's what we do. Go check it out. and just link to that website. That's a backlink.
What friends do you have in other markets with sites that are ranking where you can?
Yeah, exactly. All your vendors you work with, connect with them, and we'll show you ways to do it.
So let's talk about how many backlinks, what quality do I need to rank, and then we'll get into where to buy them, where you would want to buy them, creative ways to make them, that's the part I'm most excited about. But talking about how many we need, so it's interesting, Trevor. We were talking about this before we went live. I'm working on a blog post right now, basically along the lines of what's it take to rank a Kara site. So Cam on our team, him and I are analyzing a bunch of top ranking Kara sites to find out the specific things they're doing to get their number 1, number 2, number 3 ranking. And one of those things was how many backlinks do they have? And I'm not going to share all the data because I don't want to spoil it, but we looked at some big markets, some smaller markets, medium-sized markets. We looked at Chicago. Well, let me give you an extreme example. So one of them in Dallas, number 1 ranking, 2,000 backlinks. That's a lot of backlinks. I think the highest out of all the ones we found looks like 3,200 for a site ranking number 1 in Atlanta. But when we also found was number 1 ranking site in Chicago, only 62 backlinks.
Yeah.
That's super low. And then, so that's Chicago. And then Roseburg, town of 30,000-ish people. Anthony Beckham, our friend, is ranking number 1 with 25 backlinks and is getting super motivated leads on a consistent basis through his Kara
well
site.
into 6 figures a year.
Yeah.
With that, right?
With 25, or excuse me, sorry, that wasn't 20. I was looking at the authority score. 34 backlinks, big whoop. So 34 backlinks. So what I'm getting at is there is some math behind this, and there is a scientific process to how many and what quality, if you want to get deep into the weeds on that. But quality matters more. What was that stat you pulled up from Google?
Yeah, I'm gonna read this off. A couple things. So this one says a website should have 40, 50 okay, let me skip that. The number of backlinks needed to rank well in Google, and this isn't from Google, this is from other resources, but I agree with what they're saying. The number of backlinks needed to rank well in Google search depends on the competitiveness of your niche. So if I'm going after a ranking for, purple dinosaur backwards underwater basket weaving, just something completely random, I could probably get there with no backlinks, right?
Yeah.
Just good content. There's no competition there, so I can get there for that with no backlinks. So the quality of your, the competitiveness of your niche, the authority of your website. Okay, so is my website authoritative? That goes back to the content part of what we've talked about. Are you putting good content on there that's valuable, that solves a problem, that actually when someone gets there, it's actually useful, right?
That people want to eat up.
That people want to eat
what
up.
I did
That's
there?
right. With the
Experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trust.
That's right. And we've got some. We're gonna come out with some killer episodes here, guys, going deeper on that. Ways you can use AI to be able to analyze your EAT. The quality of your content, the authoritativeness of your backlinks. For example, you need more backlinks for competitive keywords and fewer backlinks for less competitive keywords. And here's the last part. Not all backlinks are equal because higher authority links carry more weight. For example, acquiring a backlink from Forbes.com will be much more valuable to your website than one from a recently constructed website. It's better to have one high-quality backlink than 50 low-quality backlinks that add no value to your SEO metrics. Okay, SEO, then it goes on from there. So guys, when you see in your market a website with 800 or 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 links in your local market, you don't need that many. In actuality, I would probably argue that the vast majority of those links on that person's website, if they have thousands in a hyper-specific local market, are probably not actually helping them over the long term very much. They may have helped boost them over the short term, right? Get that ranking quickly, but they're likely not helping them as much over the long term.
Yeah, rock and roll. That pretty much sums it up. Let's talk about where to get quality backlinks and then where to buy them. Let's talk about where to buy them first so we can just kind of get that out of the way. So if you go into the Carrot Marketplace, Andy Kaloji, SEO meets REI, offers a backlink service we have in the marketplace. Marketplace.carrot.com if you're listening. I'll send the link through in the live chat too as well. But they have backlinks starting at $600 for ranking for brand search. Basically, the backlinks you would need to in order to have your best shot at ranking for, Brady Buys Houses or Brady Buys Houses reviews, your brand search. Starting at $3,000 and then an ongoing fee, like $3,000 one-time fee, and then $300 every 4 weeks for ranking for a competitive city. And then they have a package around $4,000 for powering up a new site. And so you can go to the page and look at kind of Andy's thoughts on expectations when you can kind of start to see results from those backlinks. But it's an investment. It's an investment in quality backlinks that they're getting you set up with. So that's one of the main spots we'd recommend to get backlinks. Any other thoughts on buying backlinks before we talk about how to build them?
Yeah, so same thing, man. I'm going to be fully transparent with our audience here, okay? So what we've always focused on at Carrot with SEO is we say, well, it's evergreen marketing, right? So we want to do things one time that are going to work for years and years and years. So the most difficult part of that with SEO is the backlink part, because in order to get results, someone needs to go do the work. But to get good quality backlinks, it's work and it's expensive. And I'm going to show you guys some other places to get really good quality backlinks that are still going to be an investment, but it's going to be a lower volume, right? And so it's going to take work, guys. At the end of the day, Google doesn't want anybody to buy links. So if you go actually look at the Google requirements or their guidelines, they say that they don't want to have linking schemes. They don't want reciprocal linking schemes, they say. So an example of that back in the day with SEO is I would make a post, and I've seen people do it in this industry. I would see people make a post and say, hey guys, I've got my site. There's 35 of us here. Let's all link our sites together. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. That's viable, but what it is in Google's eyes is that's a reciprocal linking scheme. If you link to me, I'll link to you. And Google can see through that because they can see, all these websites just link to each other. They're only linking to each other for the link, not because they're all quality. So they will then start to discount that link and you just won't get credit for it. Okay. So at the end of the day, guys, buying links is something Google doesn't want you to do. All right. So how do we now then build backlinks in a way that does do what Google wants to do and accelerate it without you having to do all that work?
Yeah.
Right. So when you go through a service like the services we have in the marketplace, it is buying links, and they're going to do something where it probably will build a lot of links for you, right? And there's probably going to be some links in there that aren't the best links because they're just the way that the links are going to come. But it will get you a really, really good boost in rankings. But then they're also going to build really good quality links. Okay, we're going to show you some ways to do it. Press releases through Press and Haro, through guest blog posting, reaching out to another website that's relevant and saying, hey, I've got a piece of content. Is this something that we could partner on together to put on your website? That's good. You can do that. Okay. Yeah. So when I say that you can't buy links, I mean, literally, you're not supposed to go to a website of an owner and say, I want to pay you money, and the only thing you're going to do is put a link on my website. But what I can do is I can hire Brady to go write me some content and then go pitch it to websites, and those websites say, yeah, I'd love to put this on my website.
Yeah.
And then they put that in the website, and that gets you a link. So you're functionally still paying to get the outcome. But what I want people to recognize is I'm not going to that website owner and saying, I want to pay you $500 for you just to put your link on here. Yeah. That's frowned upon big time in Google.
Sorry, you can't hire me. I'm not for her. You can't afford me, Trevor.
That's right. That's right.
One other thought, just kind of off topic, but not, is don't buy followers for your Instagram.
Yep.
I was on Instagram this week, and it's amazing how many people I find. It's like, oh man, they got 10, 20,000 followers. Yeah. And Instagram looks at it the same way Google looks at backlinks. Like, they're not going to promote your post. You got 20,000 followers. The best it'll do is maybe get you a little bit of clout, like at a glance for other people on Instagram. But like all these, like trying to buy followers where they're getting all these like fake spammy accounts to comment on each other, like senseless comments and likes. It's garbage. It doesn't do you anything.
It's a short-term play.
Don't go buy followers. Yeah.
Short-term play.
It doesn't work.
Guys, and that's where here at Carrot, we're here to help you build a business of freedom and impact, right? We're not here to help you just game the system for 6 to 12 months and get a bunch of deals. And we've both probably talked to people like this where they're like, dude, well, I'm crushing it, getting deals every month. What I'm doing must be working. I'm going, yeah, it is. But the thing is, it's likely not going to be working in 6 to 12 months from now.
Yeah.
it's gonna all come crashing down. You're gonna have to rebuild it back up. So are we truly building something that we want to be evergreen and be here in 2 or 3 or 4 years with good quality maintenance and work? Or are we just trying to have an impulsive, result that is here now, but you're not thinking a year or 2 or 3? You're not building a foundation.
Yeah.
You're just trying to game the system and make some quick money, and you're going to be in the same spot in 2 years that you are today.
And it's not adding value. So this kind of segues into the next part about like how to create valuable backlinks. A good example, guest blog posting is probably one of the number one things. But yeah, guest blog posting, this is content marketing 101. You're answering questions and adding value to other people. You're creating content that's so compelling, people want to link out to you. And people are going to talk about it. People are going to consume those blog posts, forward it to a friend and find out about you. So it's not just this technical conversation of how do I get a backlink to rank. Yeah. You're actually starting conversations with people and letting other people know about your service. So yeah, if you want to, I've got some creative examples I can talk about first, Trevor, or we can talk about Haro first. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so a couple examples here. One person I'll call out who's watching this live right now, Josue. What's up, man? Remember we had a conversation at Carrot Camp a few years ago, and he was telling me a story about how he used to fight pirates. I think you're in the Marines, Josue. And I was like, what? And he just casually mentioned, like, hey, he used to fight pirates. He used to fend them off on these fake cruise ships. I'm like, what is happening? And I'm like, dude, you have an incredible story. I was like, do you talk about this on podcasts at all? And he's like, no, I never. I was like, how do you not talk about this? This is amazing. You have like the best stories. How do you not talk about this? And so anyways, Josue takes action. And so like a month later, I get a Facebook message. He's like, hey, just booked my first podcast. I was like, what? And he was on the Carrot Cast. We brought him on to do a podcast. And it took off, man, because he's got a real story to tell. The title's killer. You can do this even if you're not Josue, you don't have a killer title, like you can do this. But anyways, he started getting onto other podcasts and just adding value, sharing his story as a real estate investor, also with that super interesting hook. But what I'm getting at, we're like, Brady, why are you talking about guest podcasting? Because you can go find the podcasts that also do blog posts for the podcast, and it's a super low effort way to get a backlink is finding the websites that you might want to get a link to. Do they have a podcast? Do I have something to offer? Do I have a story to tell? Do I have a topic I can talk about? And then you're just going on doing a podcast if that's, your personality. So that's something that's been working really well for Josue. And
there's a lot of local podcasts that are like real estate podcasts or local home business podcasts. There's Sam Gross here in Roseburg. He's local business owner. He just started a podcast. And so there's probably 4, 5, 10, 20, however big your market is, business owners who are financial planners, or it's the local mortgage broker or a local real estate agent, and find those and pitch to be on them, but pitch to add value. Hey, come on and talk about my business, but if it's a real estate agent podcast, say, hey, I've got some cool data as an investor that I'm seeing, and I can kind of talk about the different neighborhoods in town that are prime for buying rental properties. I've got some data. I've got some examples. Would you be cool with me coming on? We can just talk about that. They're probably going to be really interested in something like that. Or hey, let's come and talk about an episode because it's going to be great for your clients to show them how to become real estate investors and get their first rental property. That's a great topic. And a lot of agents would be glad to do that, especially if they are not an investor, but they know that can help turn more deals for them too. Or a mortgage broker, right? You can come on and talk about how you yourself as an investor took your credit score from 400 to 850 or whatever it was. And you're going to go through and go, well, here's how I did that. Because as you get people up into higher credit scores, it makes them more credit worthy, which makes them they can now get a loan from a mortgage broker. So there's a million ways you guys can use your stories, your content, and just go out there and share it with others. That's one way, not the only way.
Yeah. That's one way. Another way is to do guest spots on other blogs. I don't know if I'd already mentioned that, but I'll share my screen here. One example, if you're looking at it, is Keith Stant. A lot of you already know Keith. We've talked about him, but he wrote an article a while back on a pretty big education website community for real estate agents. And the title of the article is called "Agents Don't Love Wholesalers, They Should." And it was, I think it was one of his first posts, or if not his first post on Active Rain, but it's a pretty short, really good article about how why agents should love and work with wholesalers. Really short, but it's a good value add. And at the bottom, it links out. It just says Keith Sant, Kind House Buyers, and links out to his website.
Yep.
So that's another way. Another one, I came across this. So when we were looking at the data for this blog post that I said I was working on of like top ranking carrot sites, found one of the top ranking websites in Dallas and went into her backlink profile in the SEO tool or in the SEO dashboard in Carrot, which is super cool because you just go see all your backlinks and see which ones are working for you. But what I found was she's got a blog post called Romantic Things to Do in Fort Worth. And I'll share it again real quick. But yeah, romantic things to do in Fort Worth. And this wasn't one of the ones that came out of our automated content library, out of our content packs. This is one that they wrote. It's personable, it's valuable, and it's really specific things you can, like date ideas for going to do in Fort Worth. And so she wrote a blog post on that, put it on her website, and then it was valuable enough that other local websites in Dallas-Fort Worth area were linking out to it. I don't have the examples in front of me, but that's something that other people would find as valuable and link out to, just because it's tactical and it applies to people in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
And Braden, if you can show my screen here, so I'm going to take people inside of the backlink tool. So Brady had just mentioned there, when you guys add the SEO tool and the SEO add-on within Carrot, it's going to open up this whole SEO section. Okay, it's got the domain overview tool over here. It's going to give you your domain authority or the authority score. Our aim with backlinks, like I really want to have you guys get your score over 10 for sure. But if you want to rank for anything competitive, it's probably going to need to be up over that 20, right? And so the one I'm looking at here, MauiHomebuyers.com, it has an authority score of 21. It ranks really, really well for a lot of phrases in their market. And our tool is going to show you, he has 12 top 3 ranking keywords on his website, but he has hundreds and hundreds of ones that are ranked in the top 10, top 20, top 30, top 50, and so on.
A quick note. There was a comment in the chat. I don't think it's sarcastic, but other people that don't have the context might think it's sarcastic. Derek said, "Wow, a high authority score." It's an authority score of 21, but if you're thinking out of 100, you might think that seems low. The data we pulled from the top ranking Carrot sites that I was just talking about, the average is 20.
Yep.
So it is a high authority score.
Yep. Exactly.
Just context is really important there.
Very rarely will you in this industry, other than maybe for some national sites, get an authority score of 30, 40, 50 or more. Google, as an example, I think they might be they're 90 or above.
Yeah.
But for most local businesses, like we want to get around that 20 or above. And I think you're in a sweet spot. And so then as you scroll down the tool, then we're going to start to help you and show you how many websites are linking to you. And there's some link attributes in here that we're not going to talk about today. That's a whole nother episode. And then when you go to the backlink section, it's going to dive deeper into it and really show you what does it look like. If you're paying someone to build backlinks for you guys, you especially need a tool like this, okay? Because if you're paying someone to build backlinks for you, oftentimes the first question I get from somebody, if we were doing SEO for them back in the day, they're like, "What are you doing? Are you guys doing any work? I don't see any rankings growing yet." And so I want you guys, if you're hiring an SEO agency or someone to build backlinks, be able to know what's happening with your backlinks, and they'll usually show up 2 to 3 months after those backlinks start to actually land on those websites. Within 2 to 3 months, you'll start to see them really start to be reported on. Okay, so if I go and add a link to my site on something tomorrow, it probably won't get picked up and reported on by any of these tools for a couple months. Okay?
Yeah.
So then when I come in here, I can then see what are some of the websites that are linking to my website now. Are they good quality websites? Is this place that's building these websites or these links to me actually getting them in a good way? And as I go through, a lot of people, like, he has a lot of backlinks, and that kind of concerns me because I'm going, okay, he probably bought a bunch of links. I guarantee there's links in here that are just not good quality websites that are like this one right here. pa2-ru.com, 2016 thread, some Russian stuff in there. Delete that. There's nothing good about that. That's not going to help you. Okay?
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of other ones. But then when I go down in here and look at some of his other backlinks in this report, you see some really legitimate good stuff like animalfestival.net. I don't know. I have no clue what that website is. I'm not going to click on it, but it may be good.
Let's do it live on the podcast.
That's right. That would be a whole other podcast, dude. Live on this podcast, we're going to randomly click on the links in people's backlink reports. That would be, yeah, that might be NSFW right there. But a GoFundMe. Okay, so this was when I remember Greg did this. There was a
Yeah.
Good Samaritan in his market. And that Good Samaritan, it was someone that Greg had known, or I can't remember the stories on here in that GoFundMe. The person had found this gal's wallet or purse with a lot of money in it, like a lot of money in it. Okay. And he rode his bike. He worked at a grocery store. He rode his bike miles and miles and miles because he had the person's ID. He rode miles on his bike during work hours to go deliver the wallet or the purse back to her. So what Greg did, he's like, this is such a cool story. They got it talked about in the news. And then he did a GoFundMe to buy that guy a car because he's been riding his bike miles and miles and miles and miles to get to work every day. And he's like, this dude's a good dude. Can we all help pitch in to buy a car? I pitched in $1,000. A bunch of other people did. We bought him a car.
Yeah.
And so he has a link on his web or on that GoFundMe to his website. So there's a million ways, guys. Spotify, okay, right here, the Gold Nugget podcast. His website is linked up from the Gold Nugget podcast with Justin Taylor. I don't know whose that is.
Interesting. And it's not even on their website. So it's just, so that might even counter what I was saying earlier about them having a blog. I mean, obviously you'd want it from their website on their blog too, but there's a backlink to Spotify.
Zillow. Yeah. So this is another like citation. If you're an agent, he's an agent and an investor, get your Zillow profile, link it to your website. Those are all good things.
I'll share. So we're going to kind of wrap it up just for the sake of time, and then we'll jump to Q&A. Two quick things we'll share before we do wrap it up. We're just looking at Greg's website in Hawaii. One interesting creative thing that he did was surf cameras. So he has a couple rentals with rentals on Maui with beachfront views, and just put a camera on the porch of each of his rentals, point at the beach, and bam, he's got surf cameras. And so you might live in a visually interesting spot where it makes sense to do that. If not, you can kind of reverse engineer it, get creative, and think, what other use cases are there besides cameras that I could, get backlinks? And so that was really valuable. So he's got really popular like surf websites and tourist websites in Maui linking out to his website. Like, go look at this guy's surf cams.
Anything community related.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's a bunch of farmer markets in town, have a page that collects and links up all the farmers markets in your county.
Yeah.
Maybe it's, ranking the top coffee shops in your area or in these neighborhoods, or it's ranking the neighborhoods. Or it's here's the top 10 investment house neighborhoods in Roseburg. I mean, there's a million of them, and it doesn't have to have anything to do with your business.
Yeah.
Right. It could literally be surf cams like that, but it's just something that's interesting that people are looking for.
Compelling, valuable content that people will want to link out to.
Yep.
Last two things I'll mention real quickly, because we didn't talk about them, but Haro, which was recently acquired by another company. And so I haven't dove into it, but somebody was asking if there's a free alternative. I don't know yet. We can talk about that. But Haro has always been one of the best places. It's help a reporter out to go and try and get, articles in other places. Yep. And but that's pretty well known. The other one is thehoth.com. Trevor, you mentioned that. Anything you want to mention about Hoth?
Yeah, the Hoth is a good site. It's kind of like one of those hidden secret spots, that a lot of SEO agencies actually use to get links.
THE, it's the Hoth, HOTH.com.
And if you can share my screen really quick, Braden, because I'll show you guys. Now, the reason I'm showing you guys this is to kind of show you some behind the scenes, right? I don't make any money if you go here. I should probably get an affiliate link and send you there, but I don't have one. And here's the reason I'm going to suggest that you actually either just go do the work we're teaching you and go through our trainings and things like that, or go through our marketplace and work with the vendors in there that we have for backlinks. So some of the main ways, like if you look at their products, and this is where a lot of, like I said, agencies will use to go build backlinks for their clients, and then they'll mark it up. The first thing is Citations. Okay, we just told you Citations. They can do it, but we can do it for you as well. I don't care where you get it done, but Citations have to get done, and they're really affordable through our system. The next thing is blogger outreach. That's exactly what Brady had talked about. So if you don't want to do that and you want really good high quality links, they can do it. But let me show you guys this. Okay, so if it were blogger outreach, they have their service here, which is a good service. I bought links from here before. If I want them to write me a $1,000 article, and I want it to be on domain authority 30 or above our websites, it's going to be $225 for every single post that they're able to land. if I need 20 or 30 backlinks, I'm going to take that. That's well into the thousands, right? So, and you're going to have to communicate with them and go through all the client management with them to make that happen. So the reason I'm showing you guys this is if you do look at the backlink service in a marketplace and it looks like it's expensive, it's on par with what it should be, but it's really, really specific for this industry.
Yeah.
And the people who run it know this industry. And they're going to do a mix. They're going to do a mix of some of those ones that are quicker, lower quality, right? The ones that kind of Google probably doesn't really want you to get. They're not going to penalize your site, but over time you might lose some of those and lose the juice over time. But then they're going to build really good quality ones too. So there's other ways that they'll do it too. The Citations press release distribution. There's websites like PR News or PR Web or a bunch of other press release services where you can go do a press release. You have a new hire for your team, submit a press release and submit it to every local news organization and these online ones. And it's usually like $100 and you'll be able to get some good links there. So they can do that for you, but that's probably several $100s. Social profile buildings, that was literally like your Zillow or your Instagram or things like that. And I don't know what the backlink booster is, but this is a really, really good quality service. The problem here is you have to know what you're buying. You have to structure the right amount of links in the right mix. And if you don't know what you're doing there, I would highly suggest following our training, do some of the easy ones we mentioned, reach out to your buddies, go do some guest podcasts or blog post things in your area. Get your website listed on the places that you're donating to on charities. Get your Zillow, get your Google My Business, get all those things you can control, and then go through our marketplace and really get things boosted.
Yeah, go through the 3 lead per day training.
Yep.
It gets a little bit deeper on backlinks too, but you could do the same. The last thing I'll say is you could do the same thing for guest podcasting. So if you don't want to go manually book guest podcasts, you can just go to Google and type in like podcast booking services or podcast booking for podcast interviews, things like that. A lot of them are kind of subpar. Like it's just a numbers game. It's PR. They're throwing a ton of kind of, half-ass pitches to other people and to try and get you on their podcast. But there are some that even if the pitches aren't great, you can just pay like a flat fee per booking. So like $250, $300 per podcast booked. So I would encourage you to spend a little bit more because you're going to get higher quality podcasts. But anyways, that's an option if anyone's interested in that. But that's all we got. In summary, yeah, Trevor.
Yep. No, sorry. I was going to drive you guys, go add on the SEO tools.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So you have to have some sort of a tool in order to do backlinks well. You have to know the trend, the pace. They should be consistently built, not this big old fast climb. So I don't care if you're hiring it out or if you're doing it yourself, get the darn tool because you're going to know what's being picked up, what's not, all that good stuff, guys. So add that on. $30 a month is the bargain of the century for the SEO tools if you don't already have it, versus $100 to $200 a month for like a Ahrefs tool. Go get your citations. That'd probably be the very first action I'd give everybody outside of getting the SEO tools. Get the citations built. Go to marketplace.com or marketplace.carrot.com. Marketplace.carrot.com.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And go find the SEO services in there, engage in that, get the citations going, or go build them yourselves. If you just start there, then come back to the Evergreen Marketing Show, subscribe, because we're going to be coming at you over time with more SEO and backlink education.
Sweet. All right. Thanks everybody for listening. If you got value out of this, do us a favor, do yourself a favor and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. If you are watching the video with us live and you didn't know, go check out Apple Podcasts. You can listen to the interviews that I do there, the weekly live shows. Go check out Trevor's podcast on Apple Podcasts, Entrepreneur Freedom Formula. It's starting to get some traction, put out some really good content, man. It's good stuff.
It's fun.
So
it's fun.
leave us some reviews, share the podcast with a friend. But otherwise, we will see you next week. Thanks for watching.
Thank you all.
Sweet. All right. We're getting a kickback, do some Q&A. We do that. If you guys are watching this live, you're like, what's up with this awkward break? We do that so we can cut this Q&A portion out for the podcast feed. So we don't have the Q&A in the podcast feed. But anyways, we've got some good questions. Let's get into it here. Let's see. Rosangela, welcome. What's up? She said, you guys are great. We got an SEO lead, 35K. Every time I hear from you, Rosangela, you guys are just closing crazy amount of
But
deals.
boom, I got to get a picture of that one.
Rosangela, let me know in the comments. You had sent me a Facebook message. I can't remember how many, what the revenue was for like last month that you guys had closed and just carrot leads, SEO leads. Let me know. It was a crazy number, and I don't want to misquote it. But yeah, let's see questions. Let me scroll through here. Corey Harder, is there a way to see how many citations a site currently has? And then
Yep.
Josue had asked, is there a way to delete backlinks? Can you get rid of backlinks?
Yes. Let's dive into both. So I'm going to share my screen. Oops, I just messed something up. There we go. If you can share me your screen, there we go.
Did
Cool.
you go to animalfrenzy.com by
I
accident?
did, man. My computer started glitching. Oh man, it was bad. Okay, so there's a couple ways, and these are things y'all like. I would love from the product feedback perspective to know if these are types of things that would be valuable for us to consider putting in the product to make it simpler. Because one of the first things I do whenever I dive into the client, I go to a system like this and I put in their URL and I see if they have citations, because clients never know. Like they never know if they have citations. They have no clue what a citation is. So SEMrush has this tool. It's just a free tool. And like I said, this is the system that we grab their data and use it to power a lot of our SEO tools for you guys at a fraction of the price of paying SEMrush. So you can put in your URL here, and I pulled one here for Keith. Kind house buyers just popped up on mine. I was typing in a bunch of company names to see if they actually came up, and all of them did. And so as long as you have a Google My Business profile, I'm pretty sure it'll pop up your name. So this here, let's grab an example. Corey? What's your actual business name? And we'll literally check your citations if he's here. If not, another person or two send me yours through. Okay, but you can go to that SEMrush tool, pop it in. It's going to tell you what you have. So I want to see a couple people send me your company names through. While Rosangela is telling us amazing wins, $175,000
In March.
last March.
175K in carrot deals.
Wow.
In March.
That's the stuff I love to hear. Cool. So what you guys can do though, if we get some company names, we'll pop them in. You'll type your company name here, website or phone number, and then you hit submit. And they are going to try to sell you something inside of here, but they're also going to give you a lot of free information. Okay, so this online presence assessment shows medium. It's going to give some reasons why. It gives a couple things to fix. Average star rating for your reviews, total reviews, all that stuff. And then it's going to go down here to tell you if you can expand your presence. Okay, so it's basically saying, hey, here's some things we found. We found you on Bing. We found you here. We found you here. There's no address on Facebook, so get your address up there. But then it's going to go to all these other ones and say, hey, you don't have a City Search or a Foursquare or a HostMe or a HotFrog or Insider Pages or Merchant Circle or all these ones, TripAdvisor, Yahoo, Yellow City Page. Okay, so these are citations. And then they do have a bunch of ones here. So he has 8 coupons around me, a billion other ones down here.
Let's look up. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
You're
off.
good, dude. He has a bunch of them, and then he has some opportunities. So if you don't show up on any of these things and you have a bad rating or score, it'll probably tell you that, and then you can go get those citations done.
Harderinvestments.com, HARTER investments.com.
Let's see. I might need your company name to.
Oh, just Harder Investments.
Is it Omaha?
Yes.
Cool. So let's pull it up. Oh, now it's trying to sell me something, I think. And a lot of their score, so their score is going to be based on a bunch of things, not just do you have citations, but it's going to be based off of do you have reviews, things like that. So you can see reviews is 5. They want to see you, as do we, up over 15 to 20. And so that's going to be a big part of that assessment is getting more reviews, okay? And when we put it in here, Facebook, that'd be a good one to add your phone number on that one. Okay, Bing, you're good. Google My Business profile, good. Brady's getting, is that an alarm?
It's an alarm,
You're good,
and I
buddy.
can't shut it off.
I had one the other day that I had meant to set for 5:30 in the morning. And I didn't get up at 5:30 in the morning, but it went off at 5:30 in the afternoon just perfectly.
Well, that's good.
Yep.
Don't forget
So
dinner.
you've got these ones here. So you have Brown Book, Easy Local, Hot Frog, I Begin, MapQuest. So I'm not sure if you've moved since these ones were submitted, but it does look like there's a difference in address. So whenever you move, that is the challenge with Citations is Google wants to see them updated. And if I were to click this, there are some opportunities for sure that are not in here. These ones, City Square, Commerce, N9, a bunch of these are in here and they're good. So yeah, you've got a good number of citations. There's some here that are opportunities, okay? Local.com, things like that. And there's some there's some addresses that need updated. The biggest issue though is reviews. Is we need to get more reviews on your deal. So if I were to go to Harder Investments, Omaha, let's do NE. So you've got the website there, Harder Investments. So you've got 9 reviews, it looks like there, but you need to get more here. That's going to be a big part of getting that score up. Hopefully that was helpful.
Cool. Yeah, get that link. Google offers you a link to give people a chance to give you reviews. You could, probably automate that, make it part of your follow-up process after you close deals.
Yeah.
Hey, would you mind leaving me a quick review, send me a video, etc.
I'm going to try Craig's here. So CG Properties Tax Services.
Josue, you had asked earlier in the week, top 10 ways to get high-value backlinks and low-hanging backlink fruit. I feel like we already covered that pretty well. There's not 10 ways. You don't need 10 ways. There's a few ways, but good question.
Yep.
This is Matt Slowick. Matt said, with Haro not having a pricing plan, are there any other good non-pay alternatives? I don't know. I'm not going to talk out of my butt and make one up. I don't know any non-pay free alternatives right now.
So do they not tell how much they charge?
It's $1 million hairs. Let me see.
I'd be kind of curious to see how much they charge.
I'm not sure. Let's see. Mike Wall said, is it possible to get good quality backlinks for a reasonable price? And if so, what do you recommend? We covered that. Yeah, Andy's service, SEO meets REI in the marketplace. That's the best value. That's a pretty reasonable price when you consider the time investment it would take you to get those backlinks and the research it would take you to get those backlinks, which Andy and his team have already done. Khalid was a good question while you're pulling that up. I want to know about how to get backlinks from high DA sites. I mean, maybe I'm oversimplifying, Trevor, but is it just as simple as create very interesting, compelling content that people want to link out to and offer it to them?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Not a way to gamify it, getting on higher DA sites.
Yeah, I mean that's the best way to do it for sure. And once again, guys, we're setting the bar high. Like we're saying, if you really want to do it at the expert level, here's the bar, and then you can kind of choose where you come in, with the amount of work you're willing to put in or invest. At the end of the day, when you like Rosangela, $175,000 in March, right? Landed another $35,000 SEO lead. Guys, that one deal is going to far more than pay for your backlinks and SEO work multiple times over. So whenever I hear questions like this, a little bit of hard love, it's usually coming from the perspective of an emotional marketing budget decision. Is we're saying, I want to part ways with the least amount of money possible to risk on this thing. What is the most affordable way I can get this done? Versus what we want to say is this is a marketing channel I'm investing into. And, where do I want to build towards? Okay, cool. My average profit per deal is $25,000. What if I could only get one $25,000 deal per year with SEO? Now, you should be able to get more than one unless you're in a tiny, tiny market or you're not ranking well and you didn't hire it outright or put in the work. If you get one $25,000 deal a year, the numbers we use for math for marketing is you always want to get a 4-to-1 return or 4-to-1 ROAS on your marketing spend, which means 25 grand is about, what is that, like $6,000 or something like that. So you should be able and willing to invest at least $6,000 minimum to be able to invest into this channel to have it start cranking out a deal a year for you, right? But if you're like Rosangela and she's making hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars for this channel, it should be a no-brainer to put $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a year into that. No-brainer. It's a cash machine at that point. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, remove the emotion from the math equation and ask, what do I have to do to get this result? And then position yourself to go do that. And if it's buying backlinks for a few grand and a few $100 a month for a while, so let's say $3,000 to $5,000, and you're in a market that is competitive, but you've got everything done on your website that needs to be done, and your average profit per deal is $35,000, that's an amazing potential ROI.
Nice.
Yep.
I don't have anything else to add. I think that was Rosangela said many hours working.
Yep.
Yes, she's invested time into learning it for sure. That was all the questions we had. Unless I missed anything, did you have anything else you wanted to share, Trevor?
Dude, I realized I didn't really answer that last question directly. So yeah, I mean, the things that I would do to get those links are, I would probably pick one thing and do that one thing over and over again for the next 3 to 6 months. If it's going to be guest blog posting or guest podcast, just do that. Go buy a good quality set of backlinks through a service like us or whatever. And then I'm going to go every 2 times a month. I want to try to get on a podcast or get on a news station interview. And so you're just like, once a week you go, okay, cool. Here's my list of 35 local podcasts or 35 podcasts I could get on. And once a week I'm going to spend 20 minutes pitching them.
Yeah.
And just do that one thing over and over again, and you will start to build up good backlinks. Or, once a quarter, you pull away for a few hours and you go, I'm going to think of some crazy piece of content that would be really, really, really interesting and relevant to people in my market. And think of the data that you might have access to, or tell a deal story, or all the vendors that you work with in all of your deals. Let's say you have a title company and you have an attorney and you have a mortgage broker that works with a lot of them, and you have an agent. Write up these deal, write up like deal case studies for all these deals that you do, and on Facebook and Instagram and on your blog, write it out and link up all the people you use. Hey, thank you for XYZ Title Company for always helping me out. You guys rock. Hey, thank you for XYZ Mortgage for pushing this one past the finish line for my client. Hey, thank you for XYZ Agent, and then go send them an email or a text and say, hey, just put up another deal post on this, mentioned you in it. And if you'd be cool with it, share it up on your social, share it up on your website. I'd be pumped. They'll probably do it because it's going to help them get more deals.
They will.
Do 2 or 3 of those a month, and you'll be ahead of your competition, and you won't even have to buy any backlinks if you're in a medium-sized to smaller size market.
One last question.
How do you delete backlinks?
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, Josue, how do you delete backlinks?
Yeah, quick screen share here, Braden. So there's something called disavowing backlinks. And so you really can't delete the backlink unless the website itself chooses to delete it. Okay, so you could theoretically reach out to that website and say, I no longer want you to link to my website, but you have to find the owner of the website and do all that stuff, right? But there is a tool in Google called Disavow Links. Now, why did Google make this tool? I could right now, let's say Brady and I are competitors in a market. I could go to Fiverr and buy a bunch of really crappy links. I can look for the worst possible link service in the world, and I can say, give me all the bad links you can possibly give me, and I'm going to pay $100 to send 10,000 terrible links to Brady's website. Okay, I could do that. Now, is that within our ethics or morals? Heck no, and I hope you never even think about doing that, because that really shows kind of the character that you are. But that has happened before. It's happened to us before, okay? And so Google made this tool to say, hey, we know that people can game bad backlinks, so we want to give you a way to actually remove those, to tell us, to tell Google to say, hey, don't look at these ones because we don't want you to. We didn't mean to have those up there. So inside of Google Search Console, they have a section that's disavow links. And like they say, you should only disavow a link if you have considerable number of spammy, artificial, or low-quality links pointing to your site, and the links have caused a manual action or will likely cause a manual action on your site. So what they're saying is, if you have one crappy backlink, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You have 5, you have 3, you have 10, but you have 100 really good ones, 200 good ones, don't worry about it. If you have 100 really crappy spammy backlinks that are just coming from bad neighborhoods, and you've got 35 links that are good and you worked your butt off of, those are probably ones you're going to want to consider disavowing. Create that list of links, and then you're going to go inside of their system, and you're going to actually put in the exact pages that are linking to you and or websites, and you're going to say, hey, Google, don't consider these links anymore for my website.
Yeah.
But they've got
Well
to be
said.
really spammy.
Yeah.
Because you could actually tank your rankings. So if you have some that are on the borderline, but they're not truly spammy, they're just kind of like, it's not the greatest link. Maybe 100 of those are actually helping you rank there. And you go disavow all those, your ranking's going to tank. And I would only do the ones that are like truly, truly spammy.
Yeah.
Right? It's the website from that really bad neighborhood. It's the Russian forum posts that when you go over there, it's the phishing site. It's just the really, really crappy ones.
Well said, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all the questions for this week. Next week, we're talking about how to keep your site fast and page speed. So if you got any questions on that, let us know in the group. And we're kind of, after that, I think we're going to talk about how to set a marketing budget or maybe something else. I'm not sure yet. But we've kind of gone through the foundational episodes of really evergreen marketing 101, like from start to finish. We started with like how to get your website up and running, what content marketing looks like, on-page optimization, now backlinks. That's pretty much everything you need to do to be successful with Carrot at a very high level.
Yep.
We're getting excited because now this is going to give us the chance and the freedom to dive into some more nitty-gritty relevant topics. So anything's on the table. Well, I shouldn't say anything's on the table. But if you guys have any ideas on content you want to hear about, topics that you want to hear about, let us know in the Facebook group. And we'd love to talk about it. So thanks everybody for hopping on with us. And we will see you all next week.
Awesome. Thank you all.